Howdy, and welcome back to Celebrating Vintage Model Kits. We're going to kick off Air Racer Week with this cute little kit from Hawk. This is the 1962 issue of the Howard Ike Air Racer, the DGA-5. It's in 1/48 scale or quarter scale. It's kit number 629-50, so a 50-cent suggested retail price on that price extension. We've got box art by Bill Campbell, and this was originally first issued in 1949, one of the very first plastic kits. Hawk's first kit was the R3C Curtis Racer, and they continued that series with a number of racers, and this is one of them. We've already looked at the Laird Special, I think it was called. Yeah, the Laird Special Racer, so I'll put a link in the description for that, and so you can take a look at that, and with a little bit of history on the first kits. So the Howard Ike was designed and flown by a gentleman by the name of Benjamin Howard, otherwise known as Benny. He was born on February 4th of 1904. By the age of 18, he'd saved enough money to buy a standard biplane with an OX5 engine. He taught himself how to fly. That's how easy the standard was to fly. But he ended up spinning and couldn't get out of an uncontrolled spin. So he crashed, ended up breaking his leg and destroying the aircraft. While his leg was setting and healing, he moved to Dallas to work for Curtis, and he learned about design and construction while he was working with Curtis. While he was there, he collected spare parts from there and from wherever else, and he built his first airplane for a bootlegger. And that bootlegger called the aircraft a damn good airplane, and so that damn good airplane became the DGA used on Howard aircraft. So that first one was the DGA #1. Howard's first racing plane was called the Pete, and that was DGA-3, and he won 5 races with that. That was 1930 and 31. In 1932, he developed 2 larger versions of the Pete, which were dubbed Mike and Ike, the DGA-4 and 5. The Mike and Ike name, his wife's name was Maxine, the nickname was Mike, and then there was a comic strip character from Rube Goldberg with a pair of twins called Mike and Ike. They also made some cartoons, film cartoons, in the late 20s, 27 to 29. So that Mike and Ike name, I think, kind of ties in with that. So the Ike version was powered by a Manesco B6, the Buccaneer 6-cylinder inline air-cooled engine, which produced about 160 horsepower. During races, he would run high-octane fuel through it. Initially, it was built with smaller, streamlined landing gear, and it had 2 small twin wheels instead of 1 large wheel on it. That didn't work out so well, so by the 1933, he switched it to standard kind of wheel. That was externally, really the only difference between Mike and Ike was the different landing gear wheels. So the Mike aircraft, the DGA-4, actually had a little bit of a different engine. It had the B6S, which was supercharged, and it was able to put out 200 horsepower, but it was better for altitude with that supercharged engine. Now, as far as racing goes, the 32 national air races, Howard flew the Ike to 2 firsts and 1 second. A gentleman by the name of Bill Ong flew Mike to 1 second place, 1 fourth place, and 2 fifth place finishes. The 32 Thompson Trophy race, Bill Ong flew Ike to a 7th place finish. And in the 32 women's free-for-all, a lady by the name of Gladys O'Donnell flew the Ike in those races. It doesn't look like she placed, though. In 1933, for the American Air races, Harold Newman finished in 3rd in the Ike. The 33 National Air races, Roy Minor flew Mike to 4 first place, 2 second places, 2 third places, and 1 fourth place. So pretty good year for them in 33. At the International Air races, Roy again flew Mike to 4 first places and 1 third place. And then in the 34 National Air races, Roy Hunt flew Mike to 2 fifth place finishes, and then Harold Newman came back again and flew Ike to 2 fourth place finishes. So now the planes are kind of getting a little long in the tooth for the air race world, so they weren't placing quite as well. But then in the 35 National Air races, which by this point were called the Benny Howard races because of how many races he had won, the Mike was flown by Harold Newman again to three first place finishes. And then the Ike was modified to a new fuel system that would allow it to fly inverted for extended periods. And the goal for that was to set a record for inverted flight speed, which it did at that time. The plane also became sponsored by Chevrolet, and so it had the Chevrolet logos on it, and the plane was dubbed Miss Chevrolet. But the gear collapsed at some point, so it missed the National Air races for that year. And that pretty much ended the racing career for the Mike and the Ike. Both of the planes still exist. They're being restored by a company called P&K Airmotive in Hinckley, Ohio. There's also a couple of replicas that exist that you may be able to see. One of them is down in Florida in Kissimmee. So if you're interested in seeing this, that's a place you can see one. So let's take a look at our kit here. As you may have noticed, this is still a sealed kit. So we're going to open this up and see what this looks like. So one of the ways you can tell this is the original cellophane on it is that it is folded and glued, as opposed to where you see the seams running around them, and it's this kind of plasticky stuff, not the rubbery, stretchy stuff of modern wrapping on it. So that's the original stuff. And here you can see how nice and clean this kit is. I mean, beautiful. And so we've got this really nice box art by Bill Campbell. And then we've got a photograph on the corner here with the pylon stand that they started including with their racer kits. 30 beautifully molded parts. And over in the corner here, we've got, see that there, we've got the copyright across there. And then we've got the address for Hawk in Chicago, and then Campbell's signature. On the side here, we've got other kits in the series, the GB Racer, the R3C, and the R3C1 was the very first kit with the wheeled gear, and this one here is with the pontoons. There's the Laird Solution, which we've covered before. This side's got MiG-15, which we've done, the F4D Skyray, which we've done, and also the ME-163 Comet. On the end of the box, we've got our kit number and the price extension, so 50 cents suggested retail price, and a repeat of the top box art. Same thing on this side. And this box is got a lithograph slick that's been wrapped and glued around a hard box. And a couple ways you can tell that is you'll see like a little seam of where it's been folded over. And also it wraps around and you can see the edges of the lithograph on the inside of the box. So here we have our plastic in a brilliant white. Let's get our instruction sheet. Hasn't yellowed too much. Got our copyright of 62. A little history of the Ike, and showing some photographs of the completed model here with the stand, pylon stand, and then also for decal placement. A little plug for some other kits. And here's the parts that you would cut out and glue to the side of the pylon parts. And then they're using photographs to show you the assembly of your kit. It's not too much to it. Assembling, putting your prop, fuselage has, stick your wings and tail on, landing gear, spreader bars, stick it on the bottom, and then make your tower. So not too much to it. Nice slick glossy paper though. And here's our decals. Get these out. So even though they've been inside the sealed box, it's yellowed a bit, but they are kind of this neat gold color. And then you can see real small there, focus, Ike name that would go on there. And on the back here, Hawk Model Company, your kit number again, and instructions on how to put on decals. So it looks like we've got 4 sprues here. So we'll start with the fuselage sprue first. So we've got some fairly fine engraved panel lines. And it's typical of a lot of these early plastic kits. We've got the decal markings are molded on here as well. And some pretty small fine rivet detail on here. We've got louvers for cooling on the engine, cowling, little top, bottom. Looks like exhausts across the side here. There's our little spats to go over the wheels. And here's part of our tower. And there's our prop. Prop looks pretty good. Here's the other half of the fuselage. Similar again. Engraved panel lining. This aircraft was made of basically tube construction that was fabric covered. So that's what they're kind of representing with these engraved lines here, is that fabric covering. There's nothing on the inside. Does not appear we get a pilot figure either for these. There's our wheels and the other half of the spats. Looks like there is a little bit of a dimple right there, which probably matches up to, yeah, one of the locator pins. And then our rear skid is molded on this half. And here is our wing, which again has, this has got raised panel lines and raised lines for the numbers, and same thing on the bottom. Got an ejector pin mark here. Probably another one over here somewhere. Then these 2 pins have been added to the kit in order for it to be held up by this part here, which is what keeps it on that pylon. So the original kit didn't have that. And our final sprue has more parts for the pylon, the stand for the pylon, our undercarriage, and our horizontal surfaces, which have raised lines on them as well for representing that fabric covering. See that there? And it looks like we have 2 clear pieces for this kit. Little itty bitty tiny little windscreens. Fairly thin, actually. And they give you 2 of them, in case you lose one, I guess. So that's your kit. Pretty simple, not much to it. But, you know, pretty nicely detailed for 1949. So, as far as other issues go, you had that original one, 1949. That first box was just a 2-color printed box, blue and red on a white cardboard. And 1958, they had a bagged version of this that was done in silver plastic. And then you got this one here from 62. There's another version of this in 62 where the price extension was up to 60 cents. And then 76, Tester's Hawk issue as part of that Golden Age of Aviation series. So it was those tall, skinny, vertical standing boxes that they did a number of these Hawk kits under that Tester's labeling. Kind of good looking boxes, actually. And then finally in 93, Tester's did a reissue in their mid-90s white box style. Same decal markings, everything appears to be the same, just you know, new boxing on it. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see this thing show up again someday, and you know, which I think is kind of neat that, you know, one of the very first model kits ever made, still out there, still being produced. So kind of a neat kit. Well, that's about it for this one. If you have built one of these, you know, tell us about it in the comments section. If you got one sitting on your shelf, you know, take a picture of it, send it in for the next viewer build video. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and have yourself a great rest of your day.